Now then, you know, the violent outburst of a former aviation minister, Fani-Kayode, during a parley with newsmen in Calabar the other day is provoking unfriendly reactions, especially from the media fraternity. The Nigeria Union of Journalists NUJ chapter in Akwa Ibom State has directed its members to stay away from a planned press conference, planned by the said Chief Femi Fani-Kayode. State chairman of the NUJ chapter there, Amos Etuk, said the stance was in keeping with the position taken by the national body. Well, Judy, some of our public officials have an annoying way with a breach of etiquette.
Yes, Femi Fani-Kayode worked with Obasanjo. He was a two-time minister under Obasanjo, and Obasanjo had this nature of abusing pressmen as if they were not human beings. I remember a breakfast meeting that he called some years back. He thoroughly abused Bayo Onanuga, who was the MD of the news magazine at that time, and Kabiru Yusuf,
Gide, I'm sorry,
the founder of Daily Trust.
I'm not interrupting needlessly. I remember that episode.
You remember?
And the question was honest. Sir, why have you not gone after this gentleman?
Yes, why have you not gone after IBB?
IBB.
You know, they just asked, because at that time it was very much in the news. People thought, okay, there will be a probe and all that, you know. He just said, Bayo Onanuga, what do you call your name again?
What's your name?
He said, if you have your, I don't want to get involved in your petty squabbles with IBB. If you have issues with him, go and resolve it with him. He started, and it was in the same way that he abused Kabiru Yusuf, the founder of Daily Trust.
Yeah.
So, and those are journalists who have reached the top of the profession. So, politicians abusing journalists is something that we are used to. The only difference is that Femi Kayode continued to run his mouth. He didn't even want to stop. He just continued.
But you cannot say Femi Fani-Kayode was influenced by former President Obasanjo.
He worked under him. He could have learned one or two things from him.
Oh, really?
He worked under, yes. He was the two-time minister under Obasanjo. He could have learned one or two things from him. So I want to believe that attitude, because until he worked with Obasanjo, I never heard that he abused a journalist. So I want to believe that was one of the things that he picked up from there, because what more can we talk about?
Yeah.
You know? So the truth is, yes, sometimes too our colleagues don't even know how to ask a question. You know? Some will ask silly questions. But it does not permit you to go to the length that FFK went. In fact, a colleague, Omoni Bieton, was even suggesting, he said, he could have asked the question this way: Sir, I notice you have been on tour of some states of recent. I reckon this must involve lots of financial resources.
Yeah.
Are you doing this on behalf of the party and funded by your party, or from your personal resources as a loyal party man? Omoni's argument is that if he had asked the question in this manner, that he would not have flared up. But the problem is, sometimes when you flare up in this way, it sends the signal that what that guy said was the truth. That somebody was.
He had a little something to
yes,
hide.
because, I mean, his response was disproportionate to what the guy said.
Yeah.
You know? It suggests that perhaps the guy touched on the truth and then ultimately touched on a raw nerve.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
when you are a big man, you must know how to conduct yourself in public. You must know how to relate with people, because even with the apology, you can see the way these guys have responded. Nobody will want to attend his press conferences because you are not sure. I've seen two instances where he said, "Oh, I didn't know you were going to ask me this stupid question," and then he got up.
Yeah.
On the same tour.
Yeah.
On the same tour. So even the Akwa Ibom people, they are not sure that if they asked him that question, he will not respond the same way. He already said, "Look, I have a short fuse." So you can expect that he will get angry in the manner. But when you are a big man, that it comes with it should come with a high sense of responsibility.
Jide, there's a caveat to it. When you are a big man, you have become public property. So,
yes, that they have a right.
Come on.
Look at a journalist in the U.S. asking Trump, say, when will you apologize for the many lies that you've told the American people? Of course, we can't expect any journalist, even in his worst drunken state, to face our president and ask that question. But I just had to use that example.
Wale, this is mirroring your country, even if in an ugly manner. But this is not about to end. What do I mean? Journalists running into stuff like this. There must be a word for the journalist and perhaps a word for the big man.
Well, I think for the journalists, I can only say that we should not be intimidated. We cannot be cowed. I think what Chief Fani-Kayode did was to diminish his own status. He brought himself down from a high moral ground, a high moral height, because this is somebody for the past 3 years has been attacking people in government, has been attacking the president, attack people in APC with the most vicious language. So I never imagined that he could not even stand the list of their question.
Harmless question.
Yes, the question that fellow asked was legitimate. You go from one state to the other. Are you running a charity organization? You get there, then you come and promote it. So who is funding it? Is that fund from the purse of the public, or is it your own private fund? It's like
if indeed Femi Fani-Kayode is a good student of former President Obasanjo, no comment is a comment. You could have said no comment.
No, Obasanjo will abuse you. He will abuse you. He won't let you get away.
There were other people that also work with former President Obasanjo that were never like this. I think it just reflected his own, his manners, and it's quite unfortunate because if you are holding position of authority, you must learn how to temper, your anger.
Moderate your
anger. You must with some kind of responsibility.
If you are short fused, don't announce it.
Don't announce it.
Don't announce it.
That's his own way of rationalizing his behavior. It's because I'm short fused, so that's why I did this. But how about our colleagues who stood there? And some of them were telling the guy, you see your life, and that boy too stood up. You were being abused, pilloried. You stood up like a little primary school boy, allowing him to take you to the cleaners in that way. It's wrong.
But you remember,
they should have staged the walkout.
I think we must draw lessons also from our colleagues who are across the seas. Yeah. Former President Obasanjo faced Tim Sebastian on Hard Talk. The man asked him a question, and Chief Obasanjo flipped. Can you ask your British Prime Minister that question? The man calmed down and said, Mr. Obasanjo, you have not addressed my question.
Yes.
And then he
My duty is to ask you questions. You are not the journalist. Answer my question. Don't ask me. Don't turn yourself to the journalist who asks questions. So the thing, and our colleagues stood there. They sat there. Yeah. In fact, I heard that they said that same day they said, don't go anywhere, please. Let's wait. You people that you should have walked out of him a long time ago. After the whole altercation, they were still telling themselves to remain there.
Well,
I can't believe
sometimes you don't blame those who say, will they take envelopes, green, brown, or yellow?
Of course, that's what people are saying, that they were that was why they said they should wait. I mean, it's not.
Let me speak to my colleague, the journalist.
It's not fair at all.
This job is not, repeat, not a thankless one. If you ask an honest question, stick by your question.
Stand by it,
please. That Wale, let me ask a question. Are you okay?
It's an honest. Did he complain to you that it's not okay?
Wale, thank you for your time. Thank you very kindly.
You want him to say he's short fused?
No, he's not. He would have flipped since.
No, he's not an Obasanjo. Neither is FFK.
All right, folks, we must pack it all in. Let's thank you for your time. If you missed this episode, you may watch the program on other platforms we'll display on the screen. You may also see the program on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. The feedback channel remains the same. And so on behalf of the Backroom Boys who have very long temper. Judy,
They don't flip easily.
You have a long temper. And I have a longer temper. I'm Citizen Jones.
They don't have an Efekian temper.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now.